Renee Bays, Rakim John, 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 Renee Bays, Rakim John.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podcast of Color, where four trash bags try to make some sense of this world. I'm John, and happy Women's History Month.
I'm Rakim and I'm drunk.
I'm Baze and I'm tired.
I'm Renee, and I'm part of this podcast sometimes. And I have to apologize for when I am actually not here, because I am back in school now. So that's taking up a lot of my time, so I can't always show up when I want to.
Él está en escuela.
I wish I knew what that meant. I'm learning. I'm on Duolingo.
He's in school.
Oh, yes. Come through Espanol.
Aren't you supposed to be like 7% fluent?
I'm
Fraud.
37% fluent
What?
now, but I'm Duolingo fluent. That don't mean I'm fluent for like everywhere.
I just said Spanish 1 stuff, so what's the truth?
Okay, bitch, but that's not Spanish 1 stuff. They selective about what they teach you. Also, they teach you
Pero
like 3
it
different types
is.
of Spanish. So
Happy Women's History Month. And
Yeah,
happy
yo.
Women's History
With-
Month. Shout out to the women's.
Thank you, mama.
And with that, Baze, you had a question of color for us, right?
Yes. So who are your favorite historical women figures?
So
Alright.
I'm gonna go first. So I am going to go first. My favorite historical figure was going to be the Harriet Tubman. I've said it before. I've said it again. Harriet Babbage Tubman. Your fave could never. Your fave wishes that she could. She doesn't have the range. She doesn't have the work ethic. She doesn't have the talent that Harriet Tubman did. And she just, quite frankly, doesn't have the impact that Harriet Tubman does. And with that, I'm just going to drop the mic because I'm going to let the work speak so we don't have to. And Harriet Tubman is the definition of that. Know a bad bitch when you see one. Rakim out.
Wow. That's a good one.
I guess
I know.
I will go
Thank you.
next. Sorry, I'm like really close to this mic. Let me back it up a little bit.
That's good.
Love history. Y'all know I'm the history buff in the group, so like I have so many, and it's hard to narrow it down. But I think this week I'm gonna just say Qing Shi, who is a notorious Chinese pirate. She and not only was she a pirate, she was a captain. And
I'm
she
the
lived
captain
from-
now.
Pirate?
So she lived from 1775 to 1844.
No, I'm
And-
just like, that's so cool. I think most of our versions of pirates are not like, I don't know, when you think of a pirate, I wasn't thinking Chinese, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just really cool. She commanded over 300 junks, which I guess is a traditional Chinese sailing ship, manned by 20,000 to 40,000 pirates. This is according to Wikipedia, because I forgot all the specifics. So hopefully Wikipedia is accurate with this information.
anyone know? Was there any Asian pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean?
There might have been, but they didn't have a significant part.
Yeah, there were background characters that were Asian for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, but shout out to her.
Yay!
Hey.
You all.
I'm
do you wanna
gonna
next?
go.
No,
Go.
Okay. So my favorite woman of history that helped me figure out my queerness, and I was a little baby queer, and my very first CD that I bought was Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope, and I think I've said that before.
Yes.
She's just like, I know, like, well, I
Yes,
guess
that you supporting a black woman's music. Come through, John.
Finally. Wait,
Yeah.
you bought the album?
Yeah, and I went to FYE, which in the 1990s, it was a store like Tower Records, but it was FYE was for your entertainment. If anyone remembers that,
You sure you didn't go to LIME?
WIRE. Mm-hmm.
You sure you didn't go to LimeWire, sis?
I went to KAZAA. I'm just kidding.
What is
Oh, wait,
that?
dude,
What is that? Yeah.
Wait, you guys never used Kazaa?
What is that?
Okay, now I sound dumb. I was using Kazaa to download music back then too.
It's like
But
it's like
anyway.
Napster
That might
Yeah. It was like
that might have been before my time.
It was
or
dial-up.
BearShare or LimeWire. None of which
LimeWire.
I would ever use ever.
So we just gonna lie today?
I definitely use LimeWire. I can't even front. It was. What
I've
it was.
never did because
That's okay.
I support my artists.
Well, I do now too.
By Faded Love by Tanashi on iTunes. What?
We'll see.
Who is yours, Renee?
Oh, mine is gonna be Kimberly Crenshaw. She is actually the person that is known for the introduction and development of intersectional theory in social studies.
Wow.
So basically, intersectionality is kind of the way that it is, and a big part of the reason is because of her. So
See, you guys, we said, Renee said he was in school in the beginning, and you thought he was lying, but here it is, putting out our knowledge.
Who thought he was lying?
I don't know. Someone thought he was lying, but, here he is. Very smart. So, thank you, Renee.
sure.
All right. Well, I guess that answers the question of color.
Wait, because this is kind of a short intro, and I know we didn't talk about this yet, and we probably won't. I just want to do a quick PSA to everyone. Secure your bag, secure the money. Beyonce's coming. I don't know how or when, but get your money ready, get your coin right. Go into.
Well, we did see. I mean, we could talk about it.
Okay, because I just want to talk about Top Off in the hood, hollering free Meek. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about how On the Run tour tickets went
both
and then disappeared.
Wow.
But I want to talk about both, but I just want to say to everyone before we go into Minutes of Color, just get ready because Beyonce's coming. I don't know what she's about to hit us with. If it's trap on
Well,
sale,
clearly a tour, so we are getting at least that. If
Listen,
nothing else,
I don't have the money, but I will be spending it.
I'm mad that she's going on it with Jay-Z, but it's
like I guess like my student loans came back and they said, so you need to pay this amount of money right now. So I said, okay. So that money. They said, you haven't paid this in a few months, so you need to pay this right now or we're going to take your shit. So I said, okay, you're here you go. Here's my coin. So I don't have the money for this concert, but I will be in attendance and I might be at Coachella for free. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Wait, you bitch? Okay.
I know.
Beyonce.
What does that
Beyonce.
mean? You?
Well, bitch,
Coachella.
if you find another free ticket, bitch, you already know what it is.
Girl, I might have to bartend.
You already know who your main nigga is. Let's get it.
Someone's already in California, so hey.
That's okay, but somebody ain't a nigga. That's
Wait,
a nigga.
that explains a lot. Bay said your main nigga, and John said me present.
That's not what I said. I said
that
someone
explains a
else is-
lot.
You know what? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, someone else can buy a ticket. It's not unheard of for someone to go from New York to LA, sweetie.
Jesus be a plane ticket, and he can put it.
I can take care of the plane ticket if I got the ticket to Coachella.
Okay, well we'll see because I ain't got the plane ticket money.
My sweet sister, sweetness.
Oh, now I'm so okay, fake bitch. Okay, so we're gonna see y'all in the Minutes of Color.
Trash, 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 trash.
And we're back, comma bear. I am John, and welcome.
Comma bear.
Get it?
Back, comma bear.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid. Oh my god.
Maybe I'm just a dumb bitch. I don't get it.
Oh, you know what? I just got it. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Comma bear.
As in bareback?
Bare
like
back.
Comma, like the first and last.
I quit.
Welcome to the Minutes of Color. Thank you. I feel very smart for a second. I don't know how to start this conversation, but I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm sure everyone's heard of RuPaul's comments recently regarding Drag Race.
Well, some people haven't actually. I've actually been getting messages about my story, so let everybody know what the tea is.
Cool. So, I'm not exactly sure which magazine it was or which website, but someone was interviewing RuPaul and
The Guardian.
Okay, it was The Guardian. Okay, so thank you. So the question, because drag is like, it's been changing, and someone asked RuPaul's stance on bio queens, and I'm air quoting bio queens because bio is short for biological women. And if RuPaul found them like if RuPaul would allow women in his race, and basically RuPaul said no, because drag is a male-dominated culture, and that drag is men making a statement that, like, a big fuck you to male culture, and it's a social statement. And so, and he said it's really punk rock because it's a real rejection of masculinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the interview went to ask, and continuing and said, you know, well, you had like Peppermint and other drag queens prior to, you know, or you've had other trans women.
Trans women, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said drag.
No, you're good.
And then
you're doing amazing, sweetie.
RuPaul's response was, it's an interesting area. Peppermint didn't get breast implants until after she left our show, but she was identifying as a woman, but she hadn't really transitioned, quote. So, I mean, one, that statement is really like, you know, what is the right way to transition, first of all? Like, who is someone to determine how trans or how much of a woman someone is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on to say, you can identify as a woman and say you're transitioning, but it changes once your body starts changing. It takes on a different thing, and it changes the whole concept of what we're doing. We've had some girls who've had some injections here and there and in the face, maybe a little, but they haven't transitioned. And so it just gets more problematic, right? Because it's almost like implying that if it weren't for these physical changes, then you're not a woman. Mm-hmm. Which is, I don't know, it's basically you're policing the way people see themselves, and then you're telling people, which is someone who is openly, I don't think RuPaul identifies as trans, so I don't
know. No, they don't.
Yeah, so it's weird to say, especially someone who's like not in that community, to say who is and who isn't a woman. And then, like, and my whole thing is like, I get it. This is your show. This is your platform. You can make this like however you want. You know, it's your rules. But it's not okay for you to say who is and who isn't a woman. You know, to me, I think if you like, I think about this myself, like with my gender identity, if what would make me a real woman, and I don't think that if I had some parts removed or some parts added, I'd be more or less of a woman, you know? Mm-hmm. And so for someone else to say that, it's fucked up, because you have a huge responsibility. You're RuPaul. A lot of people look up to you. And I'm thinking, like, especially kids, you know, if I heard that from someone, in my community older than me, someone I looked up to, and then turn around and tell me like, I'm not a real woman and what you're doing isn't like really transitioning, I'd be like mortified, you know, I'd feel really bad about myself. And I think that's what I'm holding her more to, right now. Like so I'm getting real emotional. I just think with this platform, you have a huge responsibility, and you shouldn't be like, you have a show, you have a con coming up that all these kids come to pay and see you, and they just adore you. And then you're going to turn around and say, you know, well, you really need boobs to be a woman. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so, and I'm glad, because a lot of like Monica Beverly Hills has just come out and say like, you know, I was a woman, and like, the physical changes is not what made me a woman. And like a lot of different people are coming out.
Former contestants even. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, wait. It's today was like such a roller coaster, because she had a tweet this morning, and I don't have Twitter, so I asked
she
you
has
guys.
two.
Right, exactly. She has two, right? So this morning at 9:00, March 5th on a Monday, I didn't know if it was real because I don't have Twitter, so I asked you guys. RuPaul tweeted, "You can take performance-enhancing drugs and still be an athlete, just not in the Olympics." Like, what the fuck? Like,
she also tweeted,
people are in the Olympics.
She also tweeted, "Ego loves identity, drag mocks identity, ego hates drag." And I'm just like, what are you saying, sis?
Yeah, it's weird. And then the thing is too is that like someone like Chad Michaels and a lot of these people have had like very severe facial surgery. They don't consider themselves women, but have had very severe facial surgery to appear as woman, or to appear as like someone who a stereotypical idea of like what a woman is. So it's just like it feels like she's picking and choosing where to like cut off, where the cutoff is. Well, she has I don't know if y'all have seen the most recent tweets that she tweeted maybe like 3 hours ago.
What, each morning I pray to set the apology? Yeah. She said, each morning I pray to set aside everything I think I know, so I may have an open-minded and new experience. I understand and regret the hurt I have caused. The trans community are heroes of our shared LGBTQ movement. You are my teachers. So that's I feel like that's the very... Sort of a... Go ahead, go.
What?
No, I just said it's not like an actual apology, because she didn't say I'm sorry. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
but it's the very first time that I've seen her like at least give a semblance of an apology, or acknowledging that maybe she's fucked up. Mm-hmm. And this, I mean, which is nice. I mean, I don't, you never know how sincere these things are, but it's just like with a lot of the people that we look up to, I feel like they're very stuck in like a certain way, and especially if like they feel like they've paved a way. They're like, oh, you should be grateful for what I did, and like this is what I think, and that's it.
Right.
And very, very, very few of them will ever come back and be like, wait, actually, I should start listening to y'all. Like the only person that I really look up to, who's a quote unquote elder, who I think was like, oh wait, hold on, like maybe we should be listening to y'all, like, or listening to new ideas, was Angela Davis. And she was like, yeah, y'all are developing all these new things, so we should, the elders should also be listening to y'all and not be so like, rigid about their ideas, even if they like paved some type of way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just kind of came into this like, everyone, it was just kind of cracking me up because everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh my god, not RuPaul! Oh my god, she said something." And I'm just like, I remember when she got dragged for using the slur that she was saying that she was using as like for male on the show, and I remember when she got dragged for using the T slur, and she felt that she had a right to that word, and other drag queens had the right to that word, even though that word really, like, I'm sure people have used it against drag queens, but like, obviously, like, once you take off that makeup and you go back into like your identity, you are safe and you don't have that word being used against you. And trans people have spoken to her and have called her out, have called her in, everything, and have spoken to her about the things that she said and done, and she doesn't like she doesn't ever like back away from it. And even like with those slurs and being called out for that, I've seen her even defend people for doing it, and she's always kind of like cooned a lot. Like when it comes to like racial shit, I feel like RuPaul is somebody who's like, again, I've said this from jump, like I've never been a fan of RuPaul, but I always respect their legend. They are a legend. They are a trailblazer. They always have been. They always will be. That being said, I can never really stand, because I always feel like for them, like everything, that white dollar takes precedence over everything, and white comfort takes precedence over everything. So as long as white people are comfortable, and as we're seeing in this situation and situations in the past, as long as cis white people are comfortable, RuPaul is fine with it, and we all just need to get over it and just deal with it, because that's basically what she said. I've been through things and I just got over it. And it's like, yeah, but like, that doesn't mean, like, you shouldn't have had to go through those things. It's not that, you know what I mean? Like, it is not okay because you went through them. You shouldn't have had to go through those things either. But you did, so that kids today wouldn't have to go through those things. And now that they don't have to go through those things, they should, I mean, and they are still going through things, but I mean, like, they should be able to speak on that. And so this idea that she has, that you're not supposed to acknowledge your pain because that's, what people say about you is none of your business, and what people think about you is none of your business, but it can become your business when people are violent with you. And trans people face violence at disproportionate numbers to any other community, especially trans women of color. So like, it's like she's always just done this thing where she like tries to pretend like it's not a big deal and that we should just deal with it, and words don't hurt you and all this other shit. And so for me, like, I was just like, girl, this is standard RuPaul. I used that gif of Alyssa Edwards where like, you're that girl I knew you were. Because RuPaul is that's literally what I thought of when I saw her tweets about this. It was like, yeah. And the fact that she even apologized, if you want to call that an apology, is like, to me, it just says that she's trying to protect her pocket, because she even upset white folks. That's what it was this time. And she upset enough people that she actually had to face what she said. And she's never had to deal with that before. So I think that's what we're seeing here. But, you know, at the end of the day, RuPaul's going to be fine. Like, she's tapped into a cultural phenomenon. Everybody loves RuPaul's Drag Race. Everybody will be watching it on Thursday night. Like, she will be okay. Her career will be fine. Her pockets will be okay.
Do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you got to do is try. That's all. Just because, like, don't be comfortable in who you are right now. Always strive to be a better person.
Do better. Ru better.
Ru better.
Ru better.
Oh, God. I love that. That might be the
That one's
title
free.
episode. That might be the title episode.
Ru better.
Ru better.
Ru better.
Ru better? No.
Oh, you know that okay, so, and then y'all saw Willem's comments perchance?
No, what did he say?
So Willem,
Willem is cut off from the world of wonder, so he says whatever the fuck he wants.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
He's
Willem
cut
has said some really fucked up transphobic stuff, like very recently, up until 3 months ago. But today has been checking RuPaul, interestingly enough. And
the only
seems
white
to
gay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the only white drag queen I check for is Katya.
Oh,
She's
poor
cool.
Katya. She's in a hideout right now.
Why?
Oh, I
what does that mean?
know.
I don't know what it
Because
means.
she had said that she needs to take personal time out.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I live for that, because I think, like, because that's a discourse, but anxiety is just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so Katya was like, I can't do this and I don't feel right. And this, it gets to me. So I need to take time off. And
That's fair.
honestly, like, what a bad bitch for being financially secure enough to be like, I can just take breaks from my projects. Girl, I wish. Like, let's trade lives.
Go on Drag Races.
I would be such a terrible drag queen because, like, I don't have the patience.
And the
like,
money
my
you need, and like the talent you need to like sew your costumes and do your own makeup. Ugh.
So Baze just called me an untalented broke bitch.
Did nobody? No, but bitch. Okay, you really about to just do your makeup on the fly and have a beat ass face?
Okay, John, tell them about the one time I did my makeup on the fly and it was a beat ass.
Okay,
face,
but
though.
no, I'm not just talking about like a basic look. I'm not talking about like going out with like some Rihanna Fenty trophy wife on your cheek. I'm talking about a full beat down, like exaggerated ass features, like paint stars, bitch, suns, moons. Bitch, I'm talking about like really fucking your face up and looking like a whole other creature. I'm not talking about just like looking good. I know you can look good, sis.
Did you hear? He said, I don't care about that basic Jolly Rancher ass bullshit.
Jolly Rancher.
He said, what I need you to do is, I need you to serve me face. I need exaggerated eye. I need cat eyes.
You
Not only
need
do
your
I need cat-
eyebrows all the way up in your hairline.
like, you need to have a hairline.
Yes, no
Wow.
lace showing. No lace showing.
Wow.
But could you imagine?
There's a
And
few-
then the money that you have to pay for wigs and like the hair has to be of some quality because you got to wear it more than once, and then you got to have the costumes, and you can't wear the costumes too often because people be dragging each other.
It's so expensive.
That seems
It's
so
so
expensive.
I feel like RuPaul's Drag Race, especially now, you have to be like very, very polished to get on, and they're expecting
girl.
like very. You have to be either very polished or like very have like capital, basically.
It's fun.
Have
It's
a
funny
good
'cause
amount of wealth.
I like rewatching episodes, and the episodes Chi Chi was on. It's fun because she would flat out tell people that she doesn't have a lot of money like the other girls,
Right.
And fucking Rue and Michelle were like, it doesn't take money to be a good drag queen. I
So
was like,
stupid.
"Bitch."
No, so stupid.
Like,
'Cause they
it
judge
takes
people-
so much money.
They judge people for looking quote unquote cheap. So it's just like, yes,
Yeah, exactly.
it does take money, and it's a lot
Yeah, and
easier
it's not
to
like
get
they're
on.
funding.
Right.
Like,
So
there's a difference between drugstore makeup and like luxury brand makeup, because I buy drugstore makeup, and
I feel like
obviously,
I feel like a lot of people could be drag queens if they had the money for it. Not to say
Yeah,
that there's no talent for it, but I just mean like,
no, yeah,
you know what I mean? If
does
everybody
take
had
a lot of
access to
talent,
the same
yeah.
amount of money, you know.
right, yeah.
Anywho,
Ooh.
NTO who.
Any old Rue.
Rue. Yes, iconic, a moment. The legend jumped out. So Mark Miller.
Yes. Wait, who?
Mark Miller. He's some white man.
Okay.
I read this like a week ago. So I don't
Oh,
remember
I read
that.
this article.
Oh,
I read this
yes.
article.
So
I read it.
He's written for both Marvel and DC, and he has a few little thoughts and opinions on why DC is not doing what Marvel is doing. Why the doll isn't doing what the girls should have did. And I guess the basic point is that DC, the DC characters are more of a concept. They're more of an idea. So like they represent like America when it was, when these things were written, like in the 40s and 50s, when, Captain America, when Wonder Woman or like Superman were like ideals more than actual like fully realized human beings.
Right.
It's like these patriotic concepts.
Yeah, a concept, and so as opposed to like a person, and so he said that they make for great comics, but not so great in terms of like making a movie, and especially when you're trying to do this dark, gritty thing, it just doesn't work because that's not the lens in which they were created.
Yeah, and they're not incredibly relatable.
Yeah, whereas Marvel is, these people are all fucked up human beings who just happen to have like powers or like happen to be in situations. And so they're much more interesting to watch because you would want to, you can relate to Marvel characters, whereas you just admire DC characters. So, I mean, that was the gist of it. What's y'all thoughts on that?
I read it and I thought,
mean, no.
Oh, he said, "Shut up, nigger." So
no, I mean, I disagree with that, but go ahead, Ricky.
Am I allowed to speak, Massa?
Ooh. No, I meant not.
You said no.
With you, because oh my god,
I'm kidding.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I agree with that because I think that the problem with DC superheroes is there just wasn't the time, the effort, and the money put in to Marvel's. I mean, like to put into DC's the way that Marvel's was, and then on top of that too, like the article was kind of saying how DC superheroes are kind of representative of America, of an America that doesn't exist anymore. So like,
yeah,
Superman is kind of like this like white ideal, and it's like no one wants to be saved by like, it's like a very like white savior kind of complex type of thing, And like Wonder Woman was timely because like, there's like the whole Time's Up movement and that kind of thing. And, but at the end of the day, like Marvel took time to give their superheroes personalities, whereas DC's personalities are their powers. So it's like Tony Stark is a good example. Like Tony Stark has a personality, outside of being Iron Man. And, it's like you can relate or hate or not like the character. Whereas with like Wonder Woman, like she's kind of a cardboard cutout other than her. You know what I mean? And like that's kind of the issue. So I fully agree. Like even in Black Panther, like they all had personalities, they all had motivation, they all had things that they wanted to do other than like,
even if they competed with each other sometimes.
Yeah. And then like all the DC movies is like, oh, this person's trying to destroy this and we have to fix this. And I think DC relies on like you knowing who the characters are, whereas Marvel builds up movie versions of them. So like it's not like, oh, I know who Spider-Man is. Like they're giving Spider-Man his own personality in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whereas DC's like, oh, this is Superman, so like Superman saves the day. And it's like I don't care about Clark Kent as a person. Like who cares? Like,
another point that was brought up was that they're so afraid of just making them like who they were, and that they keep trying to make them gritty. Whereas if you look at like Spider-Man, he's like a cookie cutout man from the 40s. Like he's not. He's going to be more like Captain America, where he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna be a square. He's gonna be like a bit of like a I don't know. A square is probably the best word I could come up with. He's gonna be that clean cut, cookie cutter type of dude. He's not gonna be like dark and gritty and brooding and all this other shit. Because that's not the character that he.
And they make him they make him kind of relatable because it's like kind of a dorky younger guy that like has trouble in social situations, and it's just like a lot of people are just like, oh wait, like I know that, like I experienced that. So you can connect.
Like he didn't know how to kiss people, like in his movie, and like even like you're saying, even though he's cookie cutter good guy, he has a personality to him, and like the actions that he takes in the movies are fitting to his personality. And then on top of that too, it's like now he's, I mean, spoilers, but like now he's not even like a good guy anymore. Or he is, but he's like on the run from the law. So it's like there's just something that gives them all personality and character and makes them different. And it's like, I just wish DC had that. And I feel like at this point, DC just tries to copy Marvel and it doesn't work. So
yeah. Well, yeah, we gonna see. They're gonna bring out like all the black people for a movie coming out next year or something. Now that they've seen the success of Black Panther. But moving right along. Let's see, what should we talk about next? I don't want to end on that note, so maybe I should mention this one. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this shit model management thing. Kim.
Okay, so Shit Model Management is an Instagram account that's kind of like not a parody account, but it's like an anonymous account. It's not like a real model management, but it's a bunch of models that kind of come together and run this account. And they kind of like post memes and that kind of thing. But they've been working on a blacklist of photographers who have pretty much exhibited inappropriate behavior towards different models on shoots. And the list has a bunch of different photographers on it. And if you have an asterisk on your name, it means that there were more than 3 people that reported you. And then if you if your name isn't like asterisk, you've been mentioned. And I've been shook by how long I was scrolling for. And actually I'm looking at it right now and it's updated. Like, and I'm kind of, it's updated and there's more names on it. And there's a lot more asterisks. Like, for example, they added Terry Richardson and he has like 3 asterisks. But like, there's
we already knew about that, but yeah.
Yeah, but like, I just use his name because, you know, there's people on here that like I know of, that I looked up to, that I emailed when I used to be in college, that I wanted to work with them. There are people on here that I know, they're like friends of mine, or not friends of mine, but like friends of people that I know. Or there are people on here that like I had to book things when I was in when I was interning at modeling agencies in college. And it's just like, I just want to say really quickly, it's so important to people that are doing any kind of photo project. And that doesn't even mean like if you're modeling, like if you're just doing any kind of project, like headshots, or you're working on whatever, be very, very careful about who you work with, because this is so personal to me. And I've mentioned it before on the show. It annoys me to the high heavens, the fact that these people take the art of photography and use it to prey on people. And it's disgusting. And so I just want you guys to just be very, very careful. I'll actually put the link in the description for this episode, but like, please be careful when you guys are working with these people, because it's never okay if you're on a shoot and someone makes you feel uncomfortable and tells you to do something that you shouldn't do, or tries to touch you or whatever, and you don't have to you don't have to go along with it. And they shouldn't put you in that position in the first place. So I'm disappointed in all these people that are on the list. Like, there's at least 100 names on here, like minimum. I don't. If I just hit my trackpad and I just scroll down, my trackpad ends at the M's. Then I have to go again, and then it goes to the whole list. So it's just like, it's ridiculous. So just be very, very careful. Luckily, none of the people that I know or work with are on here, but there are so many asterisks. It's disgusting. So
yeah, I just wanted... Huh?
And I was going to say, like, you've had people come up to you with like inappropriate ideas for photo shoots too.
Well, also I just wanted to shout out, let me do this name justice, because I do not know how to pronounce this. H-A-O. Is that how? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
And then Nguyen? N-G-U-Y-N?
Oh, Win.
Win. Oh, is it Win? Oh my, ooh, girl. Okay. How Win, who's a photographer, a Canadian-based photographer, and he just has like very cool work. They got like some shit thrown at them for posting about Haydar Pichon, and there's just been a lot of commentary on him and the fact that he's, you know, assaulted people and is just very well known for being a gross human being. I've never heard of this.
I'm sorry,
before.
which one was the assaulter?
His name is Haydar Pichon.
Okay.
HADARPITCHON. And it just was like crazy because, you know, apparently he was trying to get things taken down from Instagram where people were talking about it. And I'm just like, just shout out to all the people that are actually standing up to these guys, because yes, there's a list and now people are like actually talking about it, but it still takes bravery to be in these industries and like to comment on these specific people. Because we can all talk about the concept, but to be actually commenting on like a specific person who has power in this industry.
And I also just want to say really quickly to other artists and photographers and people that may be listening, like, you have to speak up about this stuff. You really do. And I know sometimes it's hard because these are your friends and these are your peers, but you have to speak up. And it's more important to talk about the model safety and the talent safety over protecting people that are predatory and using this art to prey on people. And you know, if that means that you may not work with a certain agency or something, then so be it. Like, it's so important. It's so important that people aren't taken care of, because I don't think people realize this. A lot of these models that are going on these test shoots as photographers, they're like 16 and 17 and 18 and like they're young. I remember I once had a shoot where the model, I found out at the end of the shoot, was 13 and I thought she was 18.
What the
like
fuck?
The agency lied to me and said she was 18 and she was 13.
What the fuck?
And like, and it's like their mom was there and it was just like, I felt gross afterwards because I was just like, if I knew she was 13, I wouldn't have done it. And agencies lie about the age of these young models all the time. And also, like I said before in a previous episode, a lot of these models are from Europe and they come here because they get signed to these agencies, and them modeling is how they feed their families. And so the fact that they have, and even if they're not that situation, like, and they're from LA, like, that's how they make their money. And so when they get put in these situations, it's like, if they don't do what this photographer says, that they don't get paid for that job. Like, a lookbook job for like a full day, like, is normally anywhere from like $800 to like $1,700. And, you know, that's rent for their family, or that's food on the table. So they go along with it because they have to. So it's up to us, the people that are actually taking the photographs, to say, you know, this isn't okay. That's why I stopped doing a lot of fashion work, because I was just like, I can't be in this environment because it's just too gross. But for those of us that are, we have to look out for the talent. We really do, because it's just like, it actually gets me emotional, because I care about like these people so much. Because when I was 19 in college, I used to work with these girls all the time, and it's like, and men too, and it's like they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to book a job, and it's like, and get a check and whatever, and it's just, I don't know, it's just gross. So I'm just pissed to see how long this list is and how many people are on here, and the fact that one of my top 3 photographers is on here makes me sick. So we have to do better.
Yeah, it's gotten so much longer. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going down
twice as long.
I also just want to say that for that Hadar Pitchen thing, I mean, I do think he's gross, but also allegedly, because I am not trying to get sued. But yes, allegedly he did these things. What shall we go with next? Oh, yes. So I haven't heard this, but Laverne Cox dropped a single?
It's called Beat for the Gods.
Is it good?
Yes.
I'm into it. Have you seen the video? Who's watched it?
You liked it?
I liked it. I like it.
Okay.
I get why there are people that don't, and to an extent I get why people don't, and then to another extent I'm just like, why don't you like it? But you weren't into it, Rakeem?
I didn't not like it. I wasn't blown away. I just felt like I guess I'll say it like this. I thought that Laverne Cox would have a bigger budget than she had.
Yeah. That's
not shade towards her. It's just, it's not. It's just shade towards her team, maybe?
Yes, her team.
I just thought that they would do her better than that. But the song is not bad. I maybe did a little bit of duck walk to it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's... Go ahead, John.
No, nothing. I also expected a lot, too. Like, not that it wasn't bad, but I was just like, you know, like, sometimes you're overwhelmed and you're underwhelmed, but I was just kind of whelmed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. John, do you watch Young Justice?
Yes.
Yes, when they go, I'm whelmed. Yes.
But they also say that in 10 Things I Hate About You, so.
I don't know what that is, so.
Anyways, moving right along. Lupita and the one and only Viola, as I'm calling her now after that Janelle Monáe song.
Cue the violins and violas.
They're coming out with a new movie, and it's called The Woman King. It's an original screenplay inspired.
It's a Beyonce biopic.
Inspired by true events that happened in the African kingdom of Dahomey, which I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but hopefully I did. It's now Benin or Benin. Look, I don't know. All I know is Nigeria, girl. And basically, it's like these warriors that are almost like the Dora Milaje. It's about female warriors, and it's about a woman and her daughter.
Wait, this sounds like badass already. I mean, every go.
Oh yeah, so it's set in the 18th century, and it's about which is the 1700s, right? Or is that the 9th? Yeah, because the 19th century is the 1800s. Cool, sorry. Yes, so it's about these.
It's like history buff come through.
You know, I know. I'm like I was having a moment. I usually know that off the top of my head, but anyway, it's about these sort of Amazonian like women fighting against French colonizers and neighboring tribes.
Wow.
So yeah, it's gonna be real cute and pretty. And you know, it's starring two dark-skinned black women, which, you know, again, great. We love that. That's what we need more of. One of my favorite things about Black Panther was just that they're, you know, light-skinned women tend to be a stand-in for black women. They tend to represent black women in Hollywood and film videos, whatever, like everything.
Wait,
what?
Did you guys see that? Oh, did you guys see that meme where like, wait, what are they called again? The women fighters and the
Dora Milaje.
What?
The Dora Milaje.
The Dora Milaje. Oh yeah, okay. So someone was like, "Who do you think is gonna win? Like the Dora Milaje versus the Amazonians?" Did you guys see that? And I was like, "Oh, that'd be really cool to watch."
Wait, who do you think will win?
Well, like, don't the Amazonians have super strength?
Yeah, someone was like, "Oh my god, like who would win versus like Wonder Woman and like Okoye?" And I'm like, "Are you?"
Yeah, like
I'm like, "Girl, the Dora Milaje are great, but Wonder Woman
doesn't have the
like,
strength of the Black Panther.
So
she will not be able to actually kill."
She would not be the Black Panther.
I really went and rewatched. I went and saw it again on Friday, and he was like,
nice.
"And now the strength of the Black Panther will be stripped away." And I was dying in the theater. I was like, "Oh my god, I hate Twitter so much for ruining this for me."
I cannot. Like, let's be serious. Wonder Woman is a god killer. Like, stop.
Yeah, right.
Like.
We love the Milaje, and we love Nakia and Okoye.
The Milaje.
The Milaje.
Wait, and then I'm not sure if you were going to bring this up, but you, also a man you were talking about like this cast.
Yeah, we were going to talk about
and,
that.
A man that turned down a role for Black Panther.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about that.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I just want to get this out of the way. But yeah, basically this is gonna be a badass movie about black women. Hopefully the cast will be entirely dark skinned. But they'll probably throw a light skin in there, a light skin or two in there. I'm just really excited for this, and like I think, I mean, I don't want to speak too soon. Knock on wood, but I think this might be Black Panther might have been a moment that like forced white Hollywood to see that black people are profitable. But we'll see, because you know white people love to ignore things. We know they don't
like,
look,
oh,
we know they
that's
don't
an
look
exception.
facts. So we know that facts are not their favorite things to pay attention to. But but yeah, so there's that. So anyway,
and also everybody loves Lupita. Have y'all seen like these memes of like everyone like when they're in Lupita's presence?
Oh no, I did not. But yes, of course, everyone loves Lupita. She's perfect in every way.
It's like everyone's either trying to like hug her or like staring at her. There's a video of like Lady Gaga just like looking at her in awe. Like it's just like it's amazing.
That's what happens when you're born without flaws. So,
but
she was born this way.
What's next?
So Amandla spoke about turning down, or not turning down, but dropping out of the audition process for Black Panther for Shuri, the role of Shuri. She basically said that, you know, as a light-skinned person, she did want the role and she really wanted to be a part of the experience, but she felt that as a light-skinned person, it wasn't her place to be a part of it, and that it needed to. It would have been weird for her as a light-skinned woman to be just in this film with all these dark-skinned women. Like it was their time to shine. And there were a lot of mixed feelings about that on Twitter.
Wait, were there?
There were. And
I saw nothing but positive. What was the mix?
Well, I understood them the gist of it is that Shuri, the role, like, as soon as Ryan Coogler saw Letitia Wright, it went straight to her. Like, there was no question of anyone else. And so there was feelings that, you know, if she was going to talk about this, that she should have kept it general, but that it felt like she was, like, trying to get cookies for talking about Black Panther specifically right now, that it's, like, out and is, you know what I mean? Like, and it's having its moment, that she's trying to kind of, like, come in on that and talk about, like, well, you know, I turned down the role for this. And kind of center her.
Well, did she say she turned down the role, or she dropped out?
Well, she said that she dropped out of the auditions, and that there was, like, a lot of. She basically implied that she was, like, about to be, like, she didn't say she was about to be her, but she said that she was, like, really continuing and was going on, and it made it sound like she was in the final running, I guess.
The way that I interpreted it was, she said that the way that I interpreted it was, she was saying that, you know, I may or may not have been considered, but I dropped out to make room in case I was being considered, because
that would make more sense to me.
Yeah,
I didn't see it that way, and that would make a lot more sense to me.
Well, yeah, because that's how castings work. Like, they don't,
definitely,
like, they don't, yeah. So I feel like they were saying, right?
Yeah, well, they go between the two. They and she.
Okay. I'm just trying to be, okay, so I thought that they were saying that, you know, hey, you know, I might have been considered for this role, but even if I'm not, I'm going to drop out, so there's one less person to consider. Mm-hmm. That way it can go to, like, a dark-skinned woman. But if it was the other thing, then, like, yeah, it's a little bit, like, funky. But I think Amandla is one of these people that I really just want to see how they grow up in, like, 5 to 10 years, because I think they're doing, like, such amazing things. And if this was a mess up, it's a mess up, and they learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm going to sit there and be like, oh, they're canceled or whatever.
Oh,
like,
no. And I don't think anybody was really saying that. From what I got, it was just kind of a lot of people, like, rolling their eyes, because they were just like, there was a point where it was becoming misrepresented as her saying that she did get the role and she turned it down. But there was a lot of people who just felt like, and I kind of got it, like, I understood that, and because it was a lot of it was mostly dark-skinned Black women who were just kind of like, it just didn't need to be said, especially not at this moment, like that, like that specific thing about how she, you know what I mean, because it felt very much like self-congratulatory, like, not that she was congratulating herself, but that she was expecting congratulations for it. And I'm not going to pretend to know where she's coming from or, like, what her intentions were with that. But I definitely agree that I felt like, again, I don't think that she should be canceled either. I love Amandla, and I'm looking forward to seeing her in The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Go buy that. But I think she didn't need to talk about specifically it being that. She could have just said, I was, you know, in the running for a movie, and I dropped out of it because I didn't think that, you know, that it needed a light-skinned girl to be a part of it. I think she could have kept it very general. I don't think that, because it did feel like that, because Black Panther is in the news right now, and Black Panther is being talked about a lot. You know, I think this is a discourse, but I do find it really interesting. I've noticed a pattern that when, like, mixed or light-skinned people talk about their experiences, I've noticed that a lot of people tend to, like, I don't want to say silence, but, like, side-eye them. And I get why. But I feel like sometimes their experiences are almost, like, invalidated. Like, when Tinashe was talking about that one thing in the interview. I don't think this is that situation, though.
Is it not? Okay, maybe I'm just... Okay, I'm still drunk. I've had a bottle of wine.
No,
so
you're
maybe
fine.
I'm just reaching.
I just disagree. I mean, you could be... You know, maybe... I mean, who knows? These are our opinions. But I think that that's a different situation. Because I think... I even read the Tinashe thing differently than what you got from it. And so I kind of agree in that regard, but, like, for the most part, I think that this is just a situation where, from what I hear, nobody's like, oh, well, actually, some people are like, fuck her, but for the most part, I'm not hearing fuck her. I'm hearing, like, she just didn't need to do all that. You know what I mean?
No, that's valid. I'm not going to disagree with that. That's valid.
So Oscars, I didn't watch it, but the first movie starring a trans woman won, and I had that on here. But, did I exit out? Yes, it's out of Chile. It's called A Fantastic Woman, and it's starring Daniela Vega, who's also the first openly trans person to first open trans person to present at the Oscars. So shout out to Daniela.
Goodbye, John.
And Amelie for Furries won Best Picture.
Who for furries?
Amelie for Furries, The Shape of Water.
Oh, sorry. I was like, for furries. I was like, we talked about this.
Oh, I never saw that. But
I honestly thought you said that too. I was like, oh god, furries.
I don't know. Frances McDormand won, which I like. I like Frances McDormand, but I didn't want anybody from that movie to win.
So 3 billboards won 2 awards, and I was pissed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like, okay, she did really do a good job acting, but my issue was like, she lost her damn Oscar. Like, how do you lose? Like, there were so many white people that were accepting their awards, and they were putting it on the floor, and I was just like, are you like?
Wait, she physically lost it?
Yes, someone stole it. Like, she put it down somewhere or something, and then like someone like stole it and she lost it or whatever. What? And like all these white people giving speeches were sitting their Oscars on the floor, and I was just like, that's so. It pissed me off because I know this is a little bit extreme, but I was just like, there are so many people of color that are dying to get this opportunity to have one, and y'all are getting it, and you're sitting it on the floor, and then forgetting to like pick it up and then go. Like, it was just so. And then during like Emma Stone said something about like, oh, well, there's like all these male directors, and then this female director, she like named the name, but it's like, of those male directors, 2 of them were like men of color that like have never been nominated before, and like that kind of thing. And it's just like, I think the Oscars were such a great example of like how your politics need to be intersectional. And I don't even like to say like, yeah, I don't even like to say like how your politics need to be intersectional, because Renee, maybe I think you can maybe phrase this better than me, but I feel like sometimes when we talk about this stuff, it's not politics. Like, my life isn't politics. Like, my identity isn't politics. It's like my everyday life.
It's politics, but it's not just politics. Like, for other people, it's the political,
the political
like,
can be personal.
Whereas for us, it's our actual, like, it affects the way we live.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of like white womaning, and not really like a lot of like conversations about like how, you know, it was a lot of like, well, you know, there's so few women, but there was like very few talking points about like how the few women there are almost all white. So, you know, it's just, what are you gonna do? This is the Oscars, and this is why I don't watch, because these people really don't give a fuck about almost any of the shit that they're talking about. They just are trying to score points for the most part, because it's popular right now to talk about certain things.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's the same things when Oscars so white happen. Like, people don't actually care about racism. People don't actually care about misogyny unless it's like personally affecting them. And there you go. I mean, that is what it is. What it is. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's about it. Did y'all have any like? I mean, Lupita and Denai, did you see them on the red carpet?
Yes, when they put their hands up with
for Winston
M'Baku.
Duke. Yes. M'Baku of the Thick Daddy Mountain Tribe. First of his name.
The M'Baku, the first of his name. Queen of the Andos and the First Man. Queen of the Khaleesi of the Grass Sea. The great breaker of chains. Mother of dragons. Wait, no. Khaleesi, the first of her name, Queen of the Andos and the First Men, Queen of the Great Grass, Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, the Mother of Dragons and Breaker of Chains.
Okay. So anyway,
you are a hater.
I am a hater. I just forgot to add this earlier. RuPaul also said, in the 10 years we've been casting Drag Race, the only thing we've ever screened for is charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, and that will never change. But girl, that just contradicts what you just said. But anyway, okay, whatever. Anywho, just want to throw that out there. Any other positive shit? Like, anything going on good this week? Like, what happened? What's up? No? I had a weird interaction. I'll mention that real quick. So I was at work today, and this white woman came in, and she was like talking to me. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I guess she said hood at some point, and she was like, oh my god. oh my god, I'm just being a typical white person. Oh my god. And she like, I was like, what is happening right now? She was having like a little mini like liberal meltdown, neoliberal meltdown. And she's just like, oh my god. And I was like, what are you saying? Like, what's happening right now? She was just like, oh, I'm doing that thing. What's that word? Oh my god, what's that thing when a white person is being horrible and racist? Oh my god. And I was just like, racist? And she was just like, no. And it's like, and she's like, oh, I'm appropriating. And I was like, wait, what are you appropriating? And she was like, oh, because I said hood, and that is typically associated with black people. I'm so sorry. Like,
is it?
That's something that we say. So she felt like she was appropriating our language, and I was just like, I just was kind of stunned because I was like, oh, girl, you're doing way too much right now. Like, I need you to bring it right on down.
She can choke.
I wasn't even mad. I just was like, I didn't even know how to feel. I was just like, okay, like that didn't even need to. You didn't even need to do all that. Like, it wasn't. I didn't feel like bad, but I just was very confused. I was like, girl, I don't care if you say hood. Like, there's a white person outside with dreads. Like, I have bigger things to do.
No,
Thorgy?
What?
Well,
Thorgy Thor? The white girl?
Oh, yeah, with her dreads.
Ooh.
Oh, a contestant on RuPaul's.
Yeah.
Yeah, she won't let trans people compete, but she'll let white people with dreads on.
Well, duh, because white people are comfortable with that, sis. If it don't make white people uncomfortable, RuPaul is for it. Anyway, I guess that's gonna be it for this little.
That'll end it.
Yeah,
okay.
We're gonna be back with Z Dix Gas. Hello and welcome back to ZDX Gas. Today we are talking about well, let's see, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? What are you talking about?
What are we talking about today?
A man who could not protect his own father. So today we're talking about being POC and competing with other POC in white spaces. So that's going to be real interesting, and we'll see how it goes. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah. Okay. So
what accent was that?
So today. That was like, I was trying to go for like a really weird Australian accent, but I don't know how effective it was. So yeah, I wanted to talk about being POC in white spaces, and like how not so much how we interact with white folks as much as how we interact with each other when we're in those spaces, like, you know, and that competitiveness that we feel from other POC. And I think this is more of an intra-racial issue. Like, I mean, I don't think that I get I definitely have been ignored in white spaces by other non-black people of color, but like, I never really feel like a competitive, I guess-ness from like Asian or like non-black Latinx folks. But when I'm in like spaces and there's like another interaction with a black person, I definitely feel like that. Like, bitch, you encroaching on my whites. So, not all the time, obviously, but like there are times when it happens. And so, I just wanted to kind of ask you guys about and talk as well about my own and our experiences with that, and how we dealt with them, and how we viewed those experiences. So who wants to go first?
You.
Me?
Oh.
Moi? Oh, did you want to go?
No,
Josh, she's like, look, I've been talking more this episode, and I'm just feeling my oats. Y'all, I led a whole discussion, bitch, so let's do it.
I was going to say, I want to go first because mine is really short. I actually don't feel competitive most of the time. Actually, like I told you guys recently, I went to this party over the weekend, and it was it was a gay party, but it was mostly, or a queer, I guess, quote, but it's mostly a lot of white people. And like, when I found other folks of color, like the one or two, literally, I like didn't feel competitive. I just felt like, hey, let's hang out. Like, And like,
But so you're never. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and like I didn't be like, hey, let's hang out. Like, I just like walked over and just, I don't know. I felt more comfortable. I felt like less awkward. And it's funny because I didn't even say anything, and the person that I was talking to, like, she saw my face and she was like, I know exactly how you feel right now. And I was like, yes, bitch. Like,
But you've never been in situations where like you've been in a space that's leans more white and you are like interacting with another Asian person and they're like being like territorial about
if the other person is being territorial?
You've never experienced that?
Oh, okay. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not talking about, I mean, we can talk about our own things with that too, but I mean, like, how do you deal with situations where other people are like that towards you is, I guess, is what I was really asking.
oh, okay, that like makes the question more clear. Because I was gonna say, I never really get competitive. I'm like, oh my god, thank God you're here, because I felt like I was dying, you know, or like,
yeah,
especially if it's another like Filipino person. I'm like, thank God, because I want to talk shit in Tagalog, and like you're the only person who can understand me right now.
But do you never feel that from them? Do you ever feel like, oh, like, bitch, these are my whites?
Yeah. Now I feel bad for going first because I thought it was gonna be short. But anyway, I did.
It's okay,
like,
sis. Do your monologue. Get on your viola.
There was a few times where it was mostly white and like another Filipino person came, and I like know for a fact they spoke Tagalog and like understood Tagalog. And so when they came, I was like, oh my god, thank God, because maraming puti, it means like it's just full of white people here. And like when they heard me say that, they responded to me in English. They were like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, okay, first of all, don't respond to me in English. I'm trying to talk shit. That's not how it works. And like,
well, you get exposed to be your own niggas.
It'd be your own niggas.
I was like, traitor. Oh my god. And I was like, never mind. And it felt really dumb. And like the whole time I would try to make, you know, a joke or a reference that only like we would get. And that person didn't laugh. And every single time I said something like a joke in Tagalog, they respond to me in English. Like, but I know, you know, like your Taglish, like your accent's coming through, your Fabi, like a girl. And it's okay to be those people, but I do meet some folks who like, specifically in those spaces, who who try to push away their Filipino-ness or their Asian-ness sometimes because they just want to not be that person, and I don't get it. And so the way I felt was, it took me a while to figure out what was happening. Like, I thought it was a joke. But then I realized, oh wait, this person is really like, they really feel a certain way about like me making these jokes just for us. Like I was trying so hard to make an inside joke and it wasn't working. And when I realized that was happening, I got really disappointed. And so I kind of was like, well, I guess I am never going to be, you know, that person with this person. You know what I mean? Like, I can't like kiki and fob out with another Filipino who doesn't want to kiki and fob out with me, like who's just trying to be like white. And so that made me really sad because for me, it's really rare for me to come across that. And I try to make a connection instantly. So what about y'all?
Well, so like afterwards, like how did you you felt?
Yeah, like,
did you like continue to try? Like what? Like did you stop at some point?
Yeah, no. Eventually, I stopped, and I stopped making jokes, and I for sure stopped speaking Tagalog, which made me sad because I don't get a lot of I don't get to do that a whole lot, like outside my family and like one or two friends. So like when I am in like a space, a public like somewhere I don't get to be a lot, and I like finally like can relate to someone, it makes me sad that that person is like pushing away their culture, or like I don't know, for whatever reason just doesn't want to. I don't know what to call it. Like participate.
Did you feel like it was because he was trying to be like one of the whites, or did you feel like he was like trying to, if he was being intentionally rude to you?
No.
Was it like? I guess my question is, did it feel like he was Yeah, I mean, what I just asked, did it feel like he was trying to be white, or did it feel like he was trying to distance himself from you personally?
I don't think it was.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he was trying to be white. I don't think he was trying to distance himself from me. I think he was trying to push away the fact that he wasn't born in the Philippines or wasn't born in America. Do you know what I mean? Like he was trying really. I don't know, not necessarily white, but was trying really hard to be American, like quoting American, like to assimilate.
But did you feel like he was competing with you? I guess is my
yeah.
question. Like, did you feel like?
I get that too. Because he asked me if I was full Filipino. Like that's always the first question that most Filipinos ask me if I'm full, because like when they see me, they're like,
"Are you mixed?"
They're like, "Are you real?" Like, they're like, "Are you real?" Like, you're not really like me. You know what I mean? They want to prove to themselves that I'm not like them, and I'm like, I don't know why you're so like, why it's like that. And there's a way to ask it without having the attitude. I'm not saying that everyone who asks that's where they're coming from, but I can see some people when they ask it because they give me like an up down and there's like a certain tone, like, oh, but are you full Filipino? Like, where are your parents from? And like it gets a little invasive, you know. Like you have to prove it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go next then. Actually, a friend of mine is writing a thing and asked me to contribute to it, and that was why I talked about this, because I ended up writing out this whole thing about like my experiences with that feeling of competition when I'm out in spaces with other Black gays. And it's actually funny because the whole point of it was like competing with other Black gays in white spaces. But I feel like there's that competition whether white people are there or not. I've talked about this feeling that I get when like I'm out and like, you know, when you go to the club and like there's always that one Black gay who has like a stank ass attitude but is so concerned with what you're doing. And I mean we talked about this when I went out with you and your friends, and we went to Blow, and there was that one Black gay guy, and I went up to talk to him and his friends, and I was like, "Oh, hey, girl." I mean, I've told the story on here before. I was like, "Oh, hey, girl," like having a good time, and they were they were nice, and I was like, "Oh my god, like look at you, you guys are like your all Black crew, like it's so cute, I'm loving it." But this one, there was one particular one who was just like, "Bitch," like his whole face was like, "Bitch, get the fuck away from me, like I don't want to interact with you." Right. And so I'm not one to force myself upon people. I stepped off. I was like, okay, well, y'all have a good night. Bye. Bye. Bye.
But what if it was like the same question you asked me though? Like, do you think he was being?
Well, yeah, I'm getting there. So I stepped off and I went back and I was dancing with you guys. And me, like when I'm on stuff, I'm friendly with everybody. I'm talking to everybody. And I was dancing and I noticed, and it was just it wasn't even intentional, but I kept making eye contact with the same guy because he was staring at me literally the entire night. Every time I happened to look in his direction, I made eye contact with him because he was paying attention to me the entire night, or what it felt like. I don't know. So for me, it felt like very much like that whole like, it was weird because it's like your attention is completely on me, but when I tried to interact with you, you were like very much like, "Bitch, get away from me." So it felt very much like someone who like, I hate to be even that person that says like, "Oh, they're just jealous," but it felt like that was what it was. I felt like he was just being a hater. And I definitely get that vibe sometimes when I'm in and I get that vibe just when I'm in Black gay spaces, period. And I feel it. Like, there's times when I I feel this pull away from like wanting to interact with people because I'm like, but it's not because I'm like, oh, well, fuck them. I'm more like, I don't know if they'll like me. And so I kind of like pull myself back a little bit, but it's not out of competitiveness. It's actually just out of like insecurity. And I feel like, oh my God, they're not going to like me and they're going to think I'm dumb. In Black spaces, but like in white spaces, namely in the Bay Area, Lord Jesus, Father God,
call on him.
I look, because that is like, okay, I told y'all, and we talked about this in episode, I forgot what episode, but it was like one of our first episodes, and I talk about like the animosity that I feel, and actually this is the few places that I feel it from, like all POC in white spaces in the Bay Area. y'all love y'all some white dick. Y'all love it. Y'all worship it. Y'all have y'all dedicate altars to it. Y'all do seances to call up the ghosts of old dead white dicks. Y'all love white dick. And we'll do anything for it. We'll fight each other. We'll go to war for it.
Oh my God, go to war.
It's just crazy. It's
We
crazy.
teach.
Like, it really, like, trips me the fuck out. So when I'm not, like, especially, like, it happens, it's like, it is the same in New York, and it is the same in LA, because it's the same everywhere. But I never feel it so harshly as I feel it when I'm in the Bay Area. And so, you know, I've just been in many situations where, like, I've been out and I see, like, a black gay, and it's very much like, ooh, bitch, like, these are my whites. Back it the fuck up, okay?
Oh.
This is my space. Don't come over here. And when I'm over in these spaces and I'm trying to, like, interact and I'm like, oh, hey, da-da-da, it's very much like, who? What did you say? Who are you? And it's a lot of shadiness. And I'm just like, okay, bitch, like, I don't want you or your whites. I'm just interacting. I'm just being a human being. I'm just being a mature adult who talks to people that they're around. And so it's just, like, crazy to me. Like, I mean, I even remember at Folsom, and I've told this story before too, is, you know, me, Mark, and one of our friends who's black. We were walking down the street or whatever, and there was this gorgeous black guy. Gorgeous. And we were just, like, shook, right? This dude sees us looking, right? Looks fearfully back at his white, who we didn't even notice before. Grabs him like a white woman grabbing her purse in a black area and run. I mean, he didn't run. He didn't actually run. But bitch, this nigga got out there quick. I was like we were about to rob the nigga. He thought we were about to jump him and take his wife from him. He was so shook. And I was just like, damn, girl, like, we didn't even know who, like, I'm telling you, if you just think of a white person, just think white man. Just hold the image in your head. That's what he looked like. Just a white man, just nothing distinctive about him.
If you say just think of an average white man, I'm thinking like someone who has like medium length shoulder hair that's kind of brown, blackish. It's kind of
it was
wet,
shorter.
But like not
I don't remember.
Okay, or short, but it's like not necessarily put together. He's wearing a suit that maybe has like these.
Not a suit because it's Folsom, girl. It's hot.
Oh,
it's
you said Folsom.
Yeah.
I think of that.
Oh, well, you said think of the average white man. So I was about to say some guy that looks like some ugly version of Ben Affleck, and he's wearing these jeans with like this belt that's not necessarily the right size, and he's wearing these jeans that are a little bit baggy, they're not fitted, and then he's wearing like these ugly like tennis shoes with it, and then on top of that he's wearing like this oversized brown and navy, like, or not brown and navy, this navy like suit jacket, and he's wearing like a polo shirt like under the jacket, and his hair is not put together, and he has glasses, and his name is Ben. That's what I think.
Are you done? Are you done?
No, you cannot talk.
Wait, have you guys seen that meme where this girl posts a picture of Justin Bieber? She's like, he's like the finest man alive, and someone's like, you could go to a gas station right now, and there's like 3 different white guys who looks just like him.
I've seen
and I was
that.
like, that's what I think
so
about
funny.
when you say someone says like a mediocre white. I'm like, yeah, like someone that you see at the gas station.
He could have been Justin Bieber.
But this
It
is
could have
what
literally been
I mean.
Justin
But
Bieber,
that's
and
kind
I
of
would
what
not
we're
have been able
trained to
tell
see
you.
as like
right.
most valuable. Like just
Attractive,
really
yeah.
plain looking white guys. Like,
So I was just,
go ahead.
yeah. So I was just like, what? Like, wasn't nobody paying attention to him? Anyway, just like the gist of it is I've been in spaces and I've seen the way that the way that men of color, when they see a white, when they see somebody they think is white, they see you with a white man, girl. If you really do value that white man, hold on to him tight, because actually there's a reason why people are shook about having their white men, because you know what? A lot of POC will see a white man with a POC and will try to sneak on in there, because there's not enough white men in the city or in this world, apparently. You know what I mean? Like, I know they're the majority of the fucking country's population or whatever, but they're just so rare that y'all gotta go and try to like fight each other over niggas that like don't give a fuck about you. Anyway, sorry, that's going into a rant. But the point is that it's crazy because it's actually sort of valid. You know what I mean? Like, that was something I had to think about, because I was like, you know what? All these like people of color are like trying to protect their friend groups and trying to, you know, protect their white boyfriends or whatever. When the reality is like, there kind of is like always like, the way I phrased it when I wrote this was like, there's always another Negro coming in ready to come in and usurp your throne in the kingdom of caucasity, because there always is.
Kingdom
like, I remember
of caucasity.
Yes. I was out with a group of friends. Most of them I did not know. I was out with a friend and then his friends. We were out in the club. One of the dudes was like this gorgeous tall black guy, and he had a white boyfriend, and the white boyfriend looked like, again, a white, there was nothing really distinctive about him. He was tall. I'll give you that one. He was tall. We were out at the club. When I tell you, black dude after black dude after black dude after black dude, see this man holding his black boyfriend's hand, dancing, grinding on each other, and trying to still come in and get at the white dude in front of his boyfriend while he's there. So it's just like, it's like on one hand, it's like, yikes at y'all like trying to protect your whites, but at the same time, you kind of have to.
But it's not even just
like people really.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What?
No.
It's just like, so it's just like.
Go. Sorry. Go.
What? Okay, yeah, it's just like crazy to me. Like I see these situations, and then it gets really annoying to me because then you see like white people who are taking advantage of these situations. They see how like desperate black men are for affection and love and validation from whiteness, and so they take advantage of that, and they be sifting through black men like toilet paper.
Wow.
So it's just all very sad to me. And I'm gonna quote myself again, but I said that instead of fighting each other for crumbs, I'd rather be fighting together for meals
or fighting for a check.
Oh.
No, I mean like meals, like as like.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna fight you unless
like
you're
trying to shit all over my metaphor, bitch. Anyway, my point is that it's crazy because that is a thing that is a huge thing that I've experienced. I experience a lot of black men being very protective of their spaces, and then I see a lot of black men trying to invade those spaces because they see that a black guy is already in there. So they like, oh well, then that means they're into black guys. That means they'll be friends with a black guy. So let me get in there too. And so it's just really kind of heartbreaking, but it's also like, I feel like for me personally, I just rather opt out of all of it because at the end of the day, I have enough stressors in my day. Like I'm trying to keep a check. I'm trying to, get my creative shit going. I'm trying to like just keep it all together. I cannot be out here trying to make sure that my friend group is like not gonna trade me in for a new Negro, or like my nigga is not gonna trade me in for the latest, like the nigga 10, the nigga X. You know what I mean? Like, bitch, ain't nobody trying to do all that. I'd rather have friends that value me for me and want to be my friend, and not just because I'm the cool black. I'd rather have a boyfriend who loves me and values me because I'm me, not because I'm the new BBC walking down the street.
Well,
like I don't want to deal with that. So anyway, y'all go ahead.
I mean,
I'm gonna pick it up really quick just because it kind of, what I was gonna say kind of weaves into what you were just saying. And so back in my heyday, when I was a young warthog thirsting after white cock.
So last year.
Oh yes, come on, pig.
Oh, are we gonna do that?
Was a young warthog.
Are we gonna do that?
No, I'm just
okay. So
no, because you said you were a hog. I was just going along with what you were saying. Wow.
No, this was like,
wow.
I want to say this is like 5 years ago. There were several people white men that kind of were trying to court me. I mean, whatever, always. But I was actually interested.
Well, she said she got a line of white men outside.
I was actually interested about 4 years ago. And there was one in particular that I would see all the time at these parties in San Francisco. And they would always try to like hit on me or flirt or whatever. And then finally I was by myself at this one party, and he came up to me and he caught me when I was by myself. And I thought he was cute. I look at him now and I feel differently. But at the time, I thought he was good looking. And so we were like hitting it off and we were talking. I want to say we were talking for like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, wait, like this might go somewhere. And then the DJ stops playing, walks over, doesn't even say hi to either of us, and goes straight to the guy and starts making out with him. And for a good like 30 seconds. And it was very much a statement of like, this is my man, this is my white, back off. Without the knowledge that this white man had been trying to come out like after me for like months.
That's the thing.
And so when you're saying like, yeah, people should be worried because people of color are after these white people. It's like, it's that, but it's also these white people are very much after other people of color and are very much at these things and are very much like, you know what, I have this dude right now, but like, I'm also on the lookout because I know that I'm in heavy demand. And I know that because of what I look like and because people revere me for what I look like I can drop this person at the, you know, whenever.
Dang.
Yeah, because that got at that club that I was talking about, that white dude was not doing anything. His black boyfriend was fighting all the like, not fighting, but you know what I mean. Like, the black boyfriend was like out here, like motherfucking embodied.
He had his own personal little like
mountain. Yeah, his own bodyguard, because the white dude was just like going along with it, like nothing. I'm just like, who wants, like, why would you want to put yourself through that when you're dealing with people who don't give enough of a fuck about you to value you over whatever random dick is walking by?
Yeah.
Or pussy.
Sorry, you were going to say something?
No, I just said or pussy.
I thought you were going to say yeah. So, and yeah, I would say definitely maybe more in San Francisco than Oakland, but, there have definitely.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, that is.
There are, I mean, it's becoming more Oakland now that more and more people of color are being pushed out and only certain types of people of color, mainly people that are like more white aspiring, and wealthier are allowed to stay in the city. It's becoming more so here, but I would say in San Francisco, definitely, I have been in places where I'm like trying to connect with other people of color and they're just kind of like, this is my spot. I already claimed my spot in this white land. This is my area. And
my spot.
Shut up. I knew y'all were going to say
this is your space. This is your area.
But yeah, they were just very like, I worked hard to like claim this white space with like, and be surrounded by white cock, and you're gonna come in and you're a threat, and so I'm not even gonna entertain
Renee, that word.
I'm not even gonna entertain
the white cock, sis. Yes.
I'm not even gonna entertain the idea of like trying to be friends with you. So yeah, and it's hard. I mean, I have gotten lucky because I feel like I haven't, or maybe I just know who to approach now, or have like built enough of a community and to know like, okay, like this is the type of person I want to be around with. And I also like, and maybe this is a horrible thing, but I also can tell a lot of times when I meet somebody, like usually right away, like, you're one of those, like, I don't even want to fuck with you. Like, I know exactly what you're, what type you are, and I know exactly, you know, what you're gonna do in X situation, so I don't even want to fuck with you. Like, you can kind of tell now.
I was gonna say, should we break it down? What are the types of behaviors these certain people exhibit?
Yeah, break it down so that people like me, when they go to the Bay Area, they don't get lost and confused.
I mean, if you see a group of white people and they're the one person of color in a group of white people, like, there you go. Like, that's the first fucking red flag. If you see their profile pictures or Instagram, they're only posting white people, like, picture them with other white people, like, another red flag. If they are like really weary about politics and like to stay away from them and like, oh, like, that's not something I'm interested, like, another white flag.
If they feel they need to proclaim that there's nothing wrong with dating white people, as if anybody's saying that white people are evil and can't be dated.
And it's also, I mean, I was having this discussion with a friend recently too. It can also be tricky because some of the people that are the loudest about racism and about like all this shit, like, are also the ones that are always chasing after white dick. And I think, I will say I'm less judgy about this now than I was like a couple of years ago, or maybe like a year or 2 years ago, because I think a lot of the times we want to be that like really radical or like really intensely political person, and we're not there yet. Like, that's a goal that we're trying to achieve, but we're still trying to like take care of the internal shit and all the shit that we've been conditioned to think. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely was like a very intensely political person 4 years ago, but was also dating white people, but also had a white partner. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm
Which, for the record, there's literally nothing wrong with dating or having a relationship with a white person. It's just the act of continuously chasing.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I think I am where I wanted to be before now, as far as like who I find attractive and who I would agree to be in a relationship with. But yeah, like it's hard. It's you really can never tell. But again, not judgmental. I'm trying to be non-judgmental of those people, and even those people that like try to like hold space within white areas, because I remember what that was like, and I know what they're going through, and I try not to guilt them, because it's just like, this is something that was kind of done to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're making a really fucked up decision, but I understand why, and that's because the world was built for you to feel like this about yourself, and for you to feel about this like about your brothers and sisters. So yeah. But anyway, whoever wants to speak next.
I mean, I think I'm the only one.
I think Rakeem is the
I'm
last one.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Rakeem.
I mean, I don't really have that much to add, other than the fact that I just feel like I'm going to echo what I'm going to start off with what Baze was saying before. I don't think there's anything wrong with dating white people or whatever, but I think the act of like chasing whiteness as if it's like on a pedestal that you're trying to like attain is where the issue is. Because I think you then need to then talk about like, why, you know, are you trying to, like, why are you trying? The fact that you're trying to catch a white person, I think, is more of an issue than like you dating a white person. But in terms of in terms of like POC kind of like competing for whiteness and that kind of thing, I've seen it almost like unintentionally, if that makes sense. Like, I've had friends where I've even mentioned like, oh, like I've had black friends or like POC friends where I've said like, oh, do you know this person or whatever, and they automatically got like really territorial, and I'm just like, I just asked you if you knew them. Like, I don't really care about anything else. And I think, though, what I want to talk about more of, I just feel like it's more of a, like, why we, or not we, let me not say we, why some people, again, I drank before, but why some people kind of have that stark reaction. Because I feel like the reason that a lot of people have that reaction, though, is because they're conditioned to be like that. So I almost feel sorry for them, because I feel like at some point, like, something happened in their lives where, or maybe they just weren't grown up, they weren't raised in a place where, I don't know, they were able to love themselves or whatever, but they were taught that whiteness is better.
Ooh,
and because of that, that's what they aspire to. And I think that we always say, like, you know, yeah, like, you should be woke and this and blah, 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 blah. But, like, some people really struggle with the idea of, you know, self-love. And it's like, it took me a while to get there myself. I'm there now, but it's like, there are some people that are still struggling with that. And just because I struggle,
I mean, I think it's a daily struggle.
It is, but like,
every
just
day,
because I struggle with it at like 21, 20 and like 22 doesn't mean that someone can't struggle with it at 26, 27. And we always say like, well, the internet's there and that kind of thing. But some people, I don't know, it just doesn't. I just think the more we're talking about this, the more I'm realizing that like, it's not as like nuanced. Or sorry, it's way more nuanced than I think. However, I do think, though, that if you're one of those, you know, people that's just kind of like, oh, well, this is my white and I want it now. And like, you know, like, I'm gonna like shade you or whatever. I think then you kind of need to take like a close look at yourself and why you think that proximity to whiteness is like this thing that's better.
Well,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but that's the issue, is that there are benefits to having proximity to whiteness, like job opportunities, socioeconomic status, because of who you're meeting and interacting with.
Yeah, but that's why I say better, because like there are definitely like benefits to that, but at the same time, you having proximity to whiteness, it doesn't make you better than someone
Yeah,
who doesn't.
no, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and there's also negatives to having proximity to whiteness too.
Oh, definitely.
You know? So it's like, I mean, yeah, you may be getting those opportunities and that kind of thing as well, but also like, think of what you're sacrificing, or like, you know, the things that you have to deal with, and like the microaggressions and the racism. But like, some people just don't care and they probably enjoy it. It's kind of like Black Republicans to me, how like they're a part of something that's inherently against like the fundamental nature of what they are, but they still kind of like indulge in it. And so I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like this is such a like case by case basis. Like I can't like paint a blanket and just say that like, because like, you know, a friend of mine even mentioned before that like he has a white boyfriend and has white friends because he lives in a city that's all white people. And it's like, and he's supposed to not have friends because, you know, they're not black. Yeah. So it's just like, you know, so
I guess I'm more talking about places where there are black people and places that I've been personally.
No, I know.
There are black people.
But I feel like that's part of the conversation as well, too, because some people like don't do it by choice. And I think if we're going to talk about it,
that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But I think that like, yeah, if you're definitely choosing whiteness over blackness because you feel like somehow whiteness is more humanized or something like that, then that's an issue. And you should definitely kind of address and kind of maybe do some self-reflection. But that's only really something that you can do for yourself. And, you know, there's nothing that like we can do for you. So I would just hope that you would know that you know, that you aren't better because you're associated with whiteness or whatever. It just means that you're associated with whiteness. Like that's literally kind of it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And like, yeah.
I think also. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to just pick up on what Rakeem was saying, which is like, I think, like, even though, like, you have to put up, like, let's say you're dating someone white or you're surrounding yourself with mostly white folks, there are a lot of, like, microaggressions that you have to put up with and a lot of fucked up shit that you have to put up with. But a lot of times, and I will say this from experience, the association with whiteness is like such a like valued thing or is such a like prize to you that you put blinders on to all the other bullshit. And you're just like, okay, I'll take it. That's fine. Like, I'll take all this shit because like at the end of the day, like I won that trophy and I'm with this white dude or whatever. It didn't work out for me, that way. I couldn't put the blinders on for very long, but like, I think that's what a lot of people end up doing. And that's why they're very blind to like, like this party isn't like mostly white, or like the white people, what the white people just said it aren't racist. Like, it's not offensive, you know, like shit like that. So it's how you have to kind of like convince yourself and how you cope, with all the other stuff that comes with dating or being surrounded by white folks.
Yeah. And I guess it's just a question of whether you actually feel like it's worth it. Like, is it worth?
Spoiler alert. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes it can be for temporary.
Like, very temporary.
if you want to throw some microaggressions my way, but also pay my bills, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for that. And I say, if you gonna be dealing with all these microaggressions, you better be getting something more than some dick. Honestly.
Right. Well,
I hope. Anyway. I guess, are we good? Do we have any other words?
No.
This is a topic we might revisit in the future.
We all have the power the Black Panther stripped away. So.
I'm trash. I'm so tired of you.
Okay.
Do you have any last thoughts, Renee?
No. Just maybe. No. That's fine. Yeah, maybe we'll
No, go for it.
No. I think this is a story for another discourse.
Okay. Well, listen. I didn't know if you wanted to throw some last defenses of your home.
I know very well how that the Bay Area,
because you know I called out the Bay. So
I know
and you know the Renadiator's gonna come for me on Twitter.
No, I think everyone, all the people of color that live in the Bay Area know how fucked up the Bay Area is. That's not something new. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well. There we go. I guess that's gonna be it for the Dick's Guess. So we'll be back with Mail of Keller. Welcome back to Podcast of Color. I don't know what accent I do. I don't know. My accents are just all over the place these days. They're usually so good. And
that Australian sounded like you were from Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia, past the Czechoslovakia. Anyway, anywho, we got from the lovely Ian. They said, "Hey there, y'all. The title is Will the Real Hee Haw Hunty Please Stand Up?" And so they just got that from me. They're targeting me with that. But they said the title is just to troll Baze, who continues to appropriate Southern bussex, gender neutral pussy power. I love it, bussex. Ooh, that is my new term. Anyway, so there was an episode where John spoke about tolerating like I guess bigotry from people if you were trying to get Jeanette right in terms of being genderqueer and like not well you can summarize your words, John.
Well, I think a listener originally wrote in a question specifically asking me how to deal with a certain situation, identifying as like non-binary, and how do we navigate hooking up and our identities. And basically, I want to thank a friend and listener for calling me in, but I think on the episode I did say something around the lines of it could have came off as that I think that we should sometimes hide or accept the fact that this is just how it's going to be when we need to do what we need to do. And I want to apologize. First of all, I don't think, I think that's how I came across, but I hope that's not what the listener got or anyone else got from what I was.
Do you want me to?
Yeah. If you could read it.
Do you want me to? Sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna be like, should I read this and then let you respond to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So they said, they want to follow up with an alternative view. And they just want to make it clear that they got nothing but love for John, but they just want to add a different perspective on what you said. So they said, I want to strongly and emphatically disagree with the concept that we as genderqueer folks or folks who fall under the umbrella of bodies that break rules must compartmentalize our autonomy for the sake of a hookup. Mm-hmm. If cis people will not fuck you, which, trust me, in my 2018 body count, they will.
Ooh,
then there are more than enough trans and genderqueer people who will and will do so in ways that are much more affirming and pleasurable. In no part of our lives do we have to hide who we are as adults who can support ourselves, because there is nothing about us that deserves to be hidden. It is abusive for people to fuck the body they choose rather than the body you have chosen. And we deserve and can have so much more. So you just bust it wide open in your beard, lipstick, Timbs, and crop top, and you break them back in stilettos, a leather jacket, and whatever the fuck you want, because you're as sexy as you. Also, feel free to hit me up in my femme as fuck DMs, because a bitch single as fuck. Love you all, Ian. We love you, Miss Ian.
I think I think the part where Ian said like something to the effect of like you're fucking the body that. What was it? What did it say, Baze?
They're trying to fuck the body that they chose as opposed to the body that
a word. A word. Shut a mama and die. Shut he called my mama shy.
Dot.
Thank you for my Systex.
Did you say Systex?
Yeah.
Not Systex.
John, I love you.
But yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'm really glad we have this portion, Male of Color, because this is exactly, what it's for, so we can get feedback too. We are trash. I am trash, and sometimes trash, and yeah, it really took me. That's not how I wanted to come across, but it made me think about, hooking up and, telling people who I am, and I want to read something that they also texted me on the side. Whatever it is, I think we can and should clearly articulate what we need out of casual sex encounter for it to be fun. Otherwise, we're just having bad and even traumatic sex. And yeah, I think that's
Oof.
important. Yeah. I was like, damn, taking me to church. But yeah, so thank you again for calling me in. So
We need Ian. I need to go sleep first of all, but we need Ian on the show.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. Do we have any other?
We do. Yeah. So okay. I just want to make sure you got your thoughts and opinions out there.
I did.
So this person says hi, and this is an update. I'm the messy bitch that was in the love triangle, and I'm here to tell you that I've got my shit together. And one, I'm grateful for the advice I've been given, and I'm humbled. Y'all really put me together and shut me up. LMAO. That was shitty. So we talked, and he knows he's never getting my pussy, and he's at peace with that.
Oh my God.
For the other guy, his life is currently falling apart. And seeing how he reacts to things helped me realize my feelings were definitely infatuation and lust, and he's not going to get my pussy either. I'm too good for that! ! Aside from that, I have a question of color and a cummy roast. Well, okay. So we'll read that cummy roast privately.
A glaze, if you will. I like glazing.
I want to hear it.
This is so.
Arroz con
So my
camis.
question of color is: how should we deal with RuPaul's transphobia without boycotting the show? RuPaul's Drag Race is the only modern representation of drag in the mainstream, but RuPaul's a fucking bitch. In other words, how do we boycott? How do we boycott RuPaul specifically, but support the show and representation of drag in general?
Wow.
Is it possible to support the show and boycott BooPaul at the same time? I don't know. That's tough. What do y'all think?
I
I
mean,
mean- Oh,
go ahead. Go.
I don't. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I've been a huge fan of RuPaul ever since like I was in my teens and I first discovered her. And yeah, I would be like Mother Ru and blah blah. And to be honest, like after hearing watching all these tweets, like, is it gonna make me stop watching the show? Probably not. Like I want to see this, and I want to see other drag queens. I want to see other people express their art. But I think we are allowed to still watch it and still be a fan of the show. Like, it is her show, but I'm more of a fan of the people that are coming on the show, not necessarily Ru herself.
Right.
Like,
right.
I think we can watch it and cheer them on, cheer the other drag queens and other women that go on the show. But like, that's not going to excuse my, like, this whole, like, I'm a huge fan of her, but what she said was just wrong, just flat out wrong. And but I'm still gonna watch the show and I'm gonna support the other girls, but I don't have to support, I guess, Ru, and like thinking like I'm not gonna stan her, I guess, like if I'm out and like, you know, like just right now, like if we're talking about her, I'm not gonna say that she's not made a mistake because she's clearly making them. I think what we can do is just call out what we see and just not excuse it as just being okay, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
It does. It makes perfect sense.
And I mean, apart from that, there are a lot of contestants that are on the show that are standing their ground and they're speaking up against what RuPaul is saying and against what RuPaul is standing for. And I definitely want to support them. It's also kind of like a cultural phenomenon. Like a lot of people, like I know a lot of my friends like to go to bars, and it's kind of like almost like our version of, I guess, like a Super Bowl or something. One of my friends was saying
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's just like we don't have like a lot of representation or a lot of things that we connect to on TV. Then this is like one of the very few things that is just like, oh shit, like we can get this. It's made for us, so we can, you know. And it's almost like a community thing to happen. But you definitely can stand against what RuPaul themselves or himself is saying. And I also want to say that there's a lot of drag, a lot of really interesting drag that is never going to end up on a show like RuPaul. And I think it's important to, you know, support those people in those shows. Because, you know, there's stuff that you would never even in your wildest dreams, like think of that's going on, but you know, it's not polished enough or it's not, marketable enough to be on a show like that. So, you know, go out and support your local, own like weirdos and drag queens and stuff. So
yeah, and check in with your trans brothers and sisters and let them know that it's, you know, that they're valid and their form of drag is valid, because we shouldn't let just one person define what it is, especially if the community's been doing it for for a long time.
Right.
RuPaul didn't invent drag, so
Exactly.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
And yeah, I mean, and again, you guys said that supporting, like the good is outweighing, I think, the bad when you're supporting all these other people.
Right.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Where are we at on time? Okay, we can do another. So this person says, "Hey guys, it's Zeke. First of all, I just want to say I love you guys so much. I just recently got put into this podcast through a retweet of Rakeem's picture.
Thank
also
you.
high key, also kind of stalking because he's high key fine as fuck.
Yes.
Crying emoji. Anyways, so I'm a 20-year-old black musician living in the state of Trump-loving Texas. Oh, sweet.
Beyonce's from there though, so it balances out.
I'm usually always discouraged being on Grindr and other dating websites. It kind of makes me feel like I'm not good enough. Also lonely as fuck. I know I'm better than I was, but it is incredibly hard to love myself as I should. I'm starting to realize that it's starting to show in my art. I have to make it a thing that I don't write about someone else and focus more on me. Should I already be out of that phase? How did you guys get over that hump? Thanks again, Zeke. So,
Artists?
I mean, you are a big artist, Rakim.
I'm a big artist,
and you are a big artist. You're big to me, sis.
thank you.
So yeah, yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Because you're someone who is constantly making new art. So how does that work for you?
So let me just, before I answer, it's like, how do I get over the feeling of like,
Well, they're asking if they should be over it at this point, which you're only 20 years old, so no, you shouldn't be. Like, you're still figuring it out. You just barely got into adulthood. But, and how do you get over that hump? Like, and I'm assuming they're asking especially because they're artists as well, and they're saying that their work, the effect of it is affecting their art. So.
But I think that that's what's kind of nice about art, though, because I don't think your work has to be something. Like, when I take photographs of myself, a lot of the times, I don't feel attractive that day. I don't feel good that day. I don't feel good about my body that day. So, like, your art doesn't necessarily have to be like, this is where I'm at. I'm at like this, like, woke, great, happy space all the time. Like, if you're not feeling great about yourself or feeling great about a certain circumstance, I think your art can reflect that. And that's what's beautiful about art, right? like, I think that that's what's nice about it. I don't think your art has to say a certain thing, but I think in terms of, I think in terms of getting over like self-doubt and that kind of thing, I just think a lot of it is you just really have to kind of trust in your instincts, and you have to trust in, the fact that this is kind of like, I don't want to say a temporary phase, but you have to trust in the fact that you're not at your final form yet. You know, like, you're 20. When I was 20, like, I still straightened my hair and dyed my hair blonde and hid my lips in pictures. And, shut up. And it was just like, there was a lot of stuff that I did because I didn't know who I was at 20. Like, I'm barely figuring that out now, and I'm about to turn 26 in April. So I think that you have a lot of room to grow, and I would just say let your art be what it is right now. And if you're at that impasse, then that's fine. And there's something that's beautiful about that, because you don't have to try to make the art that you're going to make when you're 28, when you're 20. Make the art that represents where you are right now. And don't try to force yourself to make something that you feel like you can't make at the moment, because then you're not being genuine to yourself. If that makes sense at all.
Yeah,
like,
no, it does.
That makes total sense. I can say for me, like, my art isn't as, like, I can't show it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a writer, so, like, my art will come out when it comes out. So I think it's a little bit different for me because, you know, like, Rakeem, you would, like, edit your pictures and then you would post them, right? Whereas I'm, like, I have to, like, write, and then once I'm through drafts, I have to, you know, do rewrites and all that other shit. But, so I think it's maybe a little bit easier for me because I'm not going to get that reaction as quickly as Rakeem is going to get it. So I have a little bit more time, I guess, to, like, refine, my message and how I'm saying things. But I find that, honestly, and this is probably bad, but I'm the most productive when I'm really depressed. Because it helps me to focus on, like, it helps to escape this world and go into the world that I'm creating. and it helps to build a whole other world where I control everything. So it's a great escape for me. So I find that is the thing. But yeah, I mean, that you asked how do we get over that hump? That's how I get over it. Actually, I just create, because it keeps me from focusing on like all the things that I don't have control over in my own life. And I think, I mean, we talked about this last week in terms of thinking you should be a certain place at a certain point. And the reality is, like, I know how you feel, because when I was 20, I was like, oh my God, I'm an adult. Like, I'm so grown. Like, I'm too old to be acting like this or feeling like this. But like, when I think you gain perspective as you get older, and I guess that never ends. And I'm sure if like 10 years from now, I'll be like, bitch, you were in your mid-20s, you were a baby, you didn't know anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for me now, I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm like looking back at you, and I'm like, girl, like, you're so young. Like, you just like graduated high school 2 years ago, you know? And so I think part of it is not feeling you should be at a certain place at the age. Like, there's no age you're going to be at a certain place mentally. Like, you just have to go through what you go through to get to the point to where you feel the way that you feel. Like, there's no blueprint. There's no rule book. It just happens when it does.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's going to be it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much, as always, for supporting us and listening in. Or did you guys have any last thoughts?
No.
Nah.
Y'all have anybody you want to send any thanks out to? Oh, I just want to say, let me bring that up. So, Poppy Juice and Bubble Tea are doing like a joint thing.
Shut
on
up.
the 16th in Brooklyn.
I want to die. When?
It's on the 16th.
Oh, duh, you just said that. You just said that. Okay.
It's at Elsewhere.
That's next Friday.
Yeah. It's at Elsewhere. Get your tickets now. It's Friday, March 16th. It starts at 11 p.m. It's just, I mean, it's probably going to be, I'm sure it's going to be lit because it's collab between Bubble Tea. Y'all have heard me talk about Bubble Tea. Y'all have heard me talk about Poppy Juice. So if you live in the tri-state area, you can get here.
I love when people say tri-state area. That just makes me so happy.
Well, yeah, if you do live in the tri-state area, I hope to see you guys there because it's going to be lit.
I'm so mad I don't I want to go to Bubble Tea.
We'll come to the tri-state area. But yeah, so go ahead and get your tickets. I actually don't know where you should get your tickets because my friend got my ticket for me and I Venmo'd him. But yeah, just like go follow like Oscar and like Mo and follow Poppy Juice BK and you'll find the information. Anyway, yes. So hopefully you guys will come out and show your love and support for PLC Spaces. Thank you guys. Follow us on Twitter at Trash of Color. Follow us on YouTube and like and subscribe. And I know I said that, I mean that jokingly, but please just go ahead and like and subscribe. iTunes, feel free to
leave
reviews.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, leave comments, leave reviews. Like we love feedback. Like even if like we don't necessarily like respond to it because we're in our feelings or whatever, then we come back, bitch, and then we apply the feedback, the constructive criticism
because it applies.
You know, when you put your art, Beyonce said this. I'm sensitive. I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. But after I get out my feelings, I can.
That's actually
Erykah Badu.
Oh
no, Beyonce said it too, and I don't know. Maybe somebody else said it before her, but I'm attributing it to Beyonce because that's who I heard say.
Yes, the queen.
I heard it. She said it. She said it in her documentary.
The year 4.
Remember when she had like the computer laptop and she was in like the elevator and she had just left the meeting and she was like, I'm an artist, I'm sensitive.
I know exactly.
So maybe she was copying somebody else. But anyway, that's where I heard it.
Oh, also really quickly, I just want to say thank you so much to Daddy Issues Party for having I didn't know. So I did a photo shoot with them, with a guy named Dexter Mayfield to be in their next issue, but they surprised me and they put the portrait of me and him together in the issue as well, and I didn't know I was going to be in the issue, so thank you so much for including that photograph. I had to take down the photo. They were like, so that's going to be in the issue, so take that down. But thank you so much for including that, and then also thank you to Paper Magazine for featuring the photo on your website. That's amazing, and like, thank you for giving me these clicks on my resume. So, thank you so much for featuring that. And yeah, as Bae said, you know, be sure to tune in to the show, and with that, I guess we will see y'all next week.
Yeah, we gonna miss y'all. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.